In this tutorial, we're going to explore the workflow for working with raw images shot with the Blackmagic camera. Let's take a look. The first thing that you may notice is that there's currently no media in this project, and that's because I want to show you how we can locate CHZNH files, those are raw files that the Blackmagic camera records with, and share with you how we can get them imported into Premiere Pro. The first thing that we need to do is to select the media browser from the window drop-down menu. Then navigate to a folder that has our Blackmagic CHZNH files. Okay, in this directory, there are 8 folders. Before we import anything, I want to show you what a CHZNH clip looks like. I'm going to hide Premiere Pro for a moment. Let's open the file directory that contains the 8 folders of Blackmagic CHZNH files, and then select the first folder. Right away, you can see that there isn't a video clip, rather there are hundreds of DNG files, each one representing a single frame. Together, these images make up a clip sequence which we'll import into our Premiere Pro project. Let's go back to the application and do that. We'll double-click on the first folder, and as you can see, there is one file. That's because Premiere Pro recognizes the individual DNG files as a single clip or clip sequence. To import this into our project, we'll right-click on the file and select Import. I'm going to go ahead and import the rest of the shots. Just give me a moment while I do that. Now that we have our clips in the project window, let's select all of them and drag them into the timeline area to create a new sequence. Working with raw files can take a lot of processing power, and depending upon your setup, you may want to change the quality of your playback, which you can do by accessing it under this drop-down menu. We have options for full, half, quarter, and eighth resolution. Next, let's look at how we can use the raw controls to get our images to a good starting point for color correction, and then how you can use the primary and secondary controls to add creativity to your project. To view the raw controls, just double-click on a clip in the project window or timeline to open it in the source window. Then select the Effect Controls tab. And then under the Master Clip tab, we can access the CHZNH raw camera settings. It's important to note that any changes you make to the image using the raw controls are non-destructive, and this is an advantage of working with raw. Starting at the top of the raw controls panel is the temperature slider. Moving this to the left will cool an image as it adds more blue, while moving the slider to the right will add more orange, essentially warming up the shot. The next control is the tint control, which adjusts the amount of green in an image. Moving the tint control to the left will increase the green levels in an image, and moving it to the right will add magenta. The final control in the raw panel is the exposure slider, and trust me, this can come in really handy when dealing with over or underexposed images. Unlike compressed or processed media, most raw files can be corrected due to over or underexposure without losing important detail in the shadow and highlights area. Moving the exposure slider to the right will increase the exposure, and moving it to the left will decrease it. In this next shot, let's perform a quick balance using the raw controls. We'll start by cooling the image off with the temperature slider. Then we'll pull back on the tint, and then lower the exposure so that our highlights are in the legal range below 100 IRE. Okay, that's looking good. Let's see the before and after. In this next shot, it appears to be a different time of day with a slight blue color cast. Let's use the raw controls to make this a better match to the other shots in the timeline. We'll warm up the shot by sliding the color temperature slider to the right. Then adjust the exposure. And voila, let's see the before and after. If we compare these last two shots, they match a lot better than before. Remember, the purpose for grading with non-destructive raw controls is to get us to a good starting point faster with higher quality images that are cleaner and more flexible in the tonal and color range. I'm going to continue the grade by heading over to the Lumetri color panel. I'll start by adding some contrast in the basic correction tool, and then raise the black levels a little so I don't crush the shadows. Next, I'll audition some looks in the Creatives tab. I think I like the duotone, and to apply it, I'll just click on it. And finally, I'll add a slight vignette. That's looking good. Well, I hope you found this tutorial helpful and that you can see the benefits of using the raw controls to leverage more detail from the Blackmagic camera. Thank you for watching.